The time is at hand.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
But I am telling you right now,
we need a great reset.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Fresh off the heels of the Mothman Festival, you're in dark places. My name is Junebug Fugit. Hey, what can I say about the Mothman Festival? I don't know, it's really unorganized this year. How's that for a review? I don't think I've ever seen that many people crammed into Point Pleasant before. It's gotta be their biggest year ever. But it was really hard to have a good time with so many people all bunched in there like a can of sardines. I feel that the vendors probably should have been more up on the sidewalks next to the buildings to allow more room for people to walk in the streets, because you couldn't really look at anything, couldn't buy nothing. It was kind of bad this year. And I saw the line for Dave Spink's table, and the Mountain Monsters guys, their line was long as always. And I didn't even attempt to go into like the other speakers areas over there around the statue because there was just too many people. It's crazy. We wore our In Dark Places t-shirts. Store coming soon. We didn't really get any kind of reactions. Nobody asked us about the shirts or anything like that, but Brandon said he saw somebody taking pictures of our shirts, so that was neat, I guess. We were men in black with In Dark Places t-shirts instead of suits. Jimmy had a great idea that we should have used my little phone recorder and talked to people on the streets and stuff, and have a man on the street type thing for the Mothman Festival and kind of just randomly interview people. But it wasn't possible because we couldn't even see where we were walking or anything, just a sea of people. Crazy. We did manage to squeeze into First and Main to grab some burgers and fries, and that was great. If you've not ate at First and Main, you need to give them a try. They got great food. As they were getting people's orders ready, they would call their names and people would come and get their food and stuff. So we were just sitting there patiently waiting for our food to come in, and the waitress yelled out, "Cat pee." And everybody just kind of dropped what they were doing and started cracking up. Cat pee. And there was this kid just puckered up, ready to start crying. He said, "That's my last name." So then everybody felt miserable for making fun of the kid. But how unfortunate is that last name?
Yeah, do you really like your woman stack? Hell yeah. Then feed her, please her, feed her some Cracker Jacks. Baby got snacks.
Good evening, In Dark Places, individuals, heathens, buckaroos, individuals. This is Mr. Haunted. Now, do you remember that song, Baby Got Snacks? Well, I'm going to tell you a story that I label Baby Got Snacks. Now, this is hospital worker uses COVID-19 patient's bank card for snacks minutes after the woman's death. From Birmingham, England. An English hospital worker assigned to a COVID-19 ward has been convicted of using an elderly patient's bank card to buy snacks minutes after the woman died. Aisha Basharat, 23 of Birmingham, pleaded guilty Wednesday to theft and fraud by false representation. She was given 5 months in jail, but the sentence was suspended for 18 months. This was an abhorrent breach of trust and distressing for the victim's family, said Andrew Snowden, a detective constable with the West Midlands Police Department. They were having to come to terms with the death of a loved one from COVID when they found the bank card missing. And then, of course, the realization that the card was taken by someone who should have been caring for her. Authorities said the 83-year-old victim died at Heartlands Hospital in Birmingham. A doctor caring for the woman recorded her time of death at 1:56 p.m. Security footage shows a person using the woman's card to buy snacks from a vending machine 17 minutes later. The person, who police later identified as Basharat, bought 5 pounds worth of chips, candy, and soda. Basharat bought 1 pound of snacks later that same evening. She tried to use the dead woman's card during her next shift 4 days later, but by that time the card had been canceled by the victim's family, and Basharat was arrested at the hospital that day. Basharat initially claimed she found the card on the floor and it got muddled up with her own card somehow. However, they were different colors, and the court heard how she ignored hospital protocol about patient lost property. Basharat eventually admitted to the crime. Aisha Basharat was immediately suspended when the incident came to light, and all steps were taken to support the patient's family. The spokesperson said, "The trust has fully supported the police with their investigation, and a result of Miss Basharat's conviction. The trust will now proceed with our internal HR process, with due consideration given to the criminal conviction that Miss Basharat has received." We always talk about the monsters we're scared of on this show, and this goes to show most of the monsters are just people. Thank you.
Till the break of dawn, baby got the food on. There's really not much to say. Neck so thick she could eat a brick if it's made by Frito-Lay. She's down and round. You want a buffet?
Thanks, Jimmy. Mummies from outer space. Mexico's Congress gets a first-hand look. A self-proclaimed ufologist showed members of Congress what he claimed were 2 mummified specimens of extraterrestrial beings. Experts scoffed. By Simon Romero. Thanks, Simon. Mexico's Congress is usually meant to be a venue for solemn presentations on budgets and other serious legislation. But this week, lawmakers heard testimony from a self-proclaimed UFO researcher who brought with him some unusual objects, 2 mummified specimens that he claimed were the bodies of extraterrestrial beings. The presentation of the mummies on Tuesday by Jaime Maussan, a journalist who has speculated widely on aliens, caused jaws to drop and memes to multiply around the country. The 2 specimens, which Mr. Maussan said were found in Peru in 2017, were tiny in stature and chalky in color. Each had 3-fingered hands and what appeared to be shrunken, desiccated heads. These are non-human beings who are not part of our terrestrial evolution, Mr. Maussan declared under oath, with a sign language interpreter at his side. The specimens, he added, had been buried at a remote site in Peru and were about 1,000 years old, according to carbon testing carried out by researchers at the National Autonomous University of Mexico. Update. The alien mummies appear to be a mix of looted body parts. By Owen Jarvis. Thanks, Owen. This week reports in bizarre images of a group of 5 mummy-like bodies from Peru that have 3-fingered hands led to claims by some that the mummies are not human and may be aliens. Clearly they are not aliens, but even so, what gives? Are they real mummies? Live science has found that some of these mummies may represent a combination of the looting and manipulation of real human mummy body parts. One of the mummies looks like a typical Nazca mummy in the flexed seated position, said Andrew Nelson, a professor of anthropology at the University of Western Ontario in London, Canada. Grotesquely, the hands and feet seen on this mummy, and possibly the others, may also be parts of real human mummies that have been manipulated by forgers. The white coating added afterward to hide the manipulations, said Nelson, not involved with research on the mummies. So let's just make that clear. A number of other researchers also believed that real human mummy parts were used to create these fakes. A dozen Peruvian mummy researchers have put out a statement condemning the practice, saying that it has violated numerous national and international norms. So, false alarm. Shout out time. Shout outs for Mountain Holler over on YouTube, James, Steve, Linda, Dylan, Paul, Michelle, Jennifer, Kristen. Hey, thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate you. We're going to look at some celebrities having meltdowns in honor of Nicolas Cage's 86th appearance here on the show. And here is the Nicolas Cage meltdown of the week.
You're saying, no way, those are just places where I hunted.
Oh, I believe they were, Bob. Places where you've hunted.
Yep.
And then one night, while you were studying this chart, you added on where you hunted a girl, and then another and another, until it's just something you can't leave alone. You put these girls out there, didn't you, Bob?
Now, why was I here?
What was it like? Did you panic when you killed them?
Pat.
You had their blood all over your hands and your
on.
sergeants. We found the guns. Just a matter of time before the lab confirms it.
I prepared this little clip for you. A lot of you are probably maybe Star Trek fans from way back, and maybe old-timey radio fans. So this is a little of both for you right now. Enjoy this.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay?
Can there be a little more excitement in the beginning?
I love it. Okay. All right.
It sounded like really laid, really super laid back.
Well, I'm saying, okay, I'll try and do that. Let's do take two. This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. Speak up. And maybe you better do it the way you hear it. Do it for me. No, I mean, just go ahead.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear.
Is that the way you'd like me to do it? Okay, I'll do it that way. Okay, ready. This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear.
Now let's stop that for a second. Mr. Shatner did it exactly the way the little guy in the booth asked him to do it.
Okay, so I think that came pretty close.
I'm sorry, are you making
No, I believe that you asked that was about the way you did it. I wasn't jesting.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, I insist. Now, what I want you to do is is that satisfactory to you?
I don't know, maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut. I mean,
No, because if your mouth were open, you'd have popped some pills in them. So, do the next paragraph for me so I can get an idea of how you want it. This is page 2.
well, I don't know. I really don't want to because I think you actually have a much better feel.
No, I don't think I do. I would like to hear you read the second paragraph so I can do it that way. Let me hear.
I really, now that I've looked at the different things you did, I really like the first one.
No, I like it better the way you did it. I insist that you show me how to do page 2.
Oh, geez.
Really, I mean it. Please read so I can get an idea of what you want. No, I'm going to do it the way you think it should go. No, I am going to do it the way you're reading it. Okay? I know you're here to see that I do it the way the company wants it, so I'm going to do it the way you read it.
Well, but I don't want you to do it.
But you're telling me how you want me to do it.
Well, I'm sorry.
No. I am going to do it your way. No, there's no apology necessary. You know what you want. You know what you want.
No, I don't. I
mean, you come in here and you don't know what you want?
Well, I come in here because I know you're a professional. I mean, and you know how to do it. And I'm sorry I even said anything.
No, I am going to do it the way you want. Every paragraph. And you'll send it back to town and you'll see whether, I hope it will please everybody else. As long as I'm pleasing you, that's all that matters.
Mr. Shiner, would you please, I don't feel right about doing it that way, really.
Well, no, you felt you wanted something done on the first paragraph. I'm trying to do what you want.
Now, here's a totally different clip from a totally different read that he's doing. Enjoy.
Spock, sabotage the system.
Okay, can you have line 193 again? It's sabotage.
That's kind of hard to hear, but the little producer guy or whatever is saying, could you please say sabotage and not sabotage? And that was a big mistake. Let's go back.
I don't say sabotage. You say sabotage. I say sabotage.
Now, if you thought William Shatner was being sassy, be like maybe he mispronounced it and he was embarrassed. Somebody's compiled a bunch of clips of William Shatner in Star Trek actually saying sabotage.
Sabotage of a government installation.
Did I sabotage something? Finney told me where he had sabotaged the prime energy circuits. Is this why you sabotaged my ship? In a deliberate act of sabotage, Lieutenant Uhura has effectively sabotaged the communication station.
He does indeed say sabotage. This is Mr. Haunted. Now back to more In Dark Places.
This is a bizarre meltdown between Burt Reynolds and the host of Nickelodeon's Double Dare, Mark Summers, when they appeared on The Tonight Show back in the 90s.
We've done some weird things on the show. We once filled a container with 4,000 pounds of baked beans and made kids dive into it, which was really great.
Gee, I wish I'd seen that.
You would.
Now you say you make the kids. I mean, you force the child, you hold the child's head under the baked beans, and then you throw them out. And then
we have an obstacle
course. Who told you were a neatness freak? I just say that because your back is to me, and I was just talking to a back.
No, I can talk to you too, Bert.
Thank you.
Watch out, he's got scissors.
He's got scissors.
No, I was just wondering who told you that, because...
My wife tells me that often.
She says, good morning,
I'm still married, as a matter of fact.
Yes, well, you...
Known as losing control of the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Not really. He's not a neatness freak anymore.
So, Mark, welcome to late night television.
I'm on this nice little quiet, Nickelodeon Lifetime. We do a little show. We do some sewing. We do some little, things like that. Burt Reynolds just threw water on me. Did you notice that, folks? Okay.
And you'll treasure it later.
Don't touch me.
So.
I used to be on your show all the time. Win, Lose, or Draw. I used to love that show.
It's funny, I don't remember.
Wow. Hey, yeah. So anyway, we were talking about being a neatness fanatic.
Yes, talking about being a neatness fanatic. But you started out as a magician, if I'm not mistaken.
What's this?
Oh,
that's all right. Thank you. About a week and a half later it came, but there we go.
Thank you, Fabio.
Come on.
You know, I don't mind that because I deserved it.
You deserved it?
I deserved it. I did it to you. I deserved it.
That's okay.
You know, that's the kind of guy I am.
You know? Okay.
And I was saying to your wife the other night, you know.
Bert's been on a very rough book tour. I know. I saw you with Katie Couric. You were a nice guy. I saw you on one of those PBS shows. You were very sedate.
It's easy to be nice to nice people.
It is. Yes, it is.
It's nice to see you two have hit it off so well.
He's doing his Milton Berle impression. Take a look at that. Anyway, too obscure for the room. Anyway,
it's too hip for the room. I bet that plays good on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. At least I have a full-time job, though. That's the thing.
That's true.
Where did this? Anyway, what is this? Wait a minute. What is this, Joe?
You got a coin? You got a coin?
I don't have a coin.
All right. All right, ready? It's the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know how I got onto the subject of on-air meltdowns, but here's another for you. Here's Casey Kasem losing it in the studio.
Now, we're up to our long-distance dedication. And this one is about kids and pets and a situation that we can all understand, whether we have kids or pets or neither. It's from a man in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's what he writes. Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I'm quite sincere, and it'll mean a lot if you play it. Recently, there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles.
A little dog named Snuggles. He must have been adorable.
But he was most certainly a part of... Let's start again. From coming out of the record. Play the record, okay? Please. See, when you come out of those up-tempo numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions.
You know what? Now I think I want a dog named Snuggles.
And then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what they do it for, but we can't come out of a slow record. I don't understand it. Is Don on the phone? Okay, I want a concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a up-tempo record every time I do a death dedication. Now, make it, and I also want to know what happened to the pictures I was supposed to see this week. This a time I want somebody to use his brain to not come out of a record that is that's up tempo, and I got to talk about a dog dying. Boy, this is ponderous, man. Ponderous. Ponderous.
It's Snuggles, Casey. Calm down, buddy. Thank you. Now, back to In Dark Places.
We used to go and visit my grandparents and then my Aunt Dixie every Sunday. That was our little routine. And my Aunt Dixie would always fix a big, huge dinner for us every Sunday, and it was great. And as we were driving to both households, we would listen to Casey Kasem's Top 40. And just always thought that he had such a kind, gentle voice and everything. And hearing him screaming like that just ruins it.
It's like it's been rubbed raw, burns, and you just don't want to swallow.
John Jar is suffering from a painful sore throat.
You're forcing yourself to swallow, and then when you do, it just burns.
So we asked John to try Chloraseptic.
Boy, that's quick relief. That's great.
Chloroseptic, real medicine for a painful sore throat.
My throat feels good. I can swallow.
Mike Tyson is quite the loose cannon, and he's got some pretty good meltdowns to his name, like this one.
Now, some of your critics would say, there's a race for mayor. We know you're a convicted rapist. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that?
Hey, I don't know who said that. You're the only one I heard say that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, because it's negative, and you're being negative. And I met the mayor,
right,
and nothing they can do about it.
We actually had a really good time. We talked about George Cervallo, who was a legend in your city, great man with whom Mike spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking about his life, highs and lows.
It's so interesting because you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of
hey,
with that comment.
Come on.
No, that was a piece of
we're doing live TV.
Man, I don't care. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, you got a show that you're doing tonight. We are. A lot of people.
We are.
Where it comes raw and it's the real truth. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be there to see your show. Just tell us a bit about it.
It speaks for itself. Everyone saw the show.
All right. It's a Broadway production. It went to Vegas. It went to actually 28 cities in the United States. And we're really, really proud to bring it here. And we're actually going to Monaco on October 9th. We're going to be in Monte Carlo. Right. Is it nerve-wracking for you to do something like this, or is it more nervous for you to box? How does it compare?
I don't know. It's more nerve-wracking for me to hear us talking to a rap piece of
Oh, come on, Mike.
No, because you're a piece of
All right.
You really have to.
We're gonna wrap up this interview. Thank you for coming in.
Here's another old-timey radio clip that I like, or old TV clip anyway. This is Orson Welles is doing a commercial for Paul Masson wine, and he's sitting at a table, it looks like at a restaurant with a couple, and there's people milling around, and that's the scene anyway, and the director is telling him to do his read now, and obviously he had a few bottles of this wine before he started the commercial.
Turn camera.
Mark.
102, take one. With overlap, action please.
Now right now there's about 5 seconds of him just staring at the wall.
Action Orson, please.
Just do anything?
No, sorry, cut. Yeah, rolling. 102, take two.
Take two.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
102, take three.
Take three.
Action, please.
He's rubbing his eyes.
French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
Here's another clip from poor Orson Welles, and he's having a bad day. He's doing a read for an advertisement for frozen peas, and as you'll soon see, he gets very upset.
Do you want to go through everything and then come back? Or...
No, tell me. I usually prefer to, but tell me what's wrong.
All right, I just think the very opening could be a little...
Nothing is more important than the simple act of people getting together.
Good. Could I have one more go, Orson, please? Sorry.
What?
Could I have just one more take of that?
Why? I just did it right.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not used to having more than one person in there. One more word out of you and you go. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I take directions from one person under protest. But from two, I don't sit still. But who the hell are you, anyway?
No, I'm the engineer.
Well, why the hell are you asking me for another one?
Well, I thought there was a slight bonk, and I would just like to be safe.
Jesus. What is a gonk?
Do you mind telling me what that is?
No, a bang from outside.
A bang from outside. Can I see Mrs. Rogers for a minute, please?
Yes, certainly.
We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that?
Yeah, so in other words, I'd start half a second late.
Don't you think you really want to say July over the snow? Isn't that the fun of it?
If you can make it almost when that shot disappears, it'll make my...
I think it's so nice that you see a snow-covered field and say every July peas grow there. We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. We aren't even in the fields, you see.
Yeah, we are.
We're talking about them growing, and she's picked them.
Yeah.
What?
In July.
I don't understand you, then. What must be over for July?
When we get out of that snowy field.
Well, I was out. We were onto a can of peas, a big dish of peas when I said in July.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, always. I'm always past that.
You are?
Yes. Well, that's about where I say in July.
You emphasize a bit in July.
Why? That doesn't
You
make any
guys
sense.
think I'm crabby?
Sorry. There's no known way of saying an English sentence in which you begin a sentence with in and emphasize it. Get me a jury and show me how you can say in July, and I'll go down on you. That's just idiotic, if you'll forgive me by saying so. That's just stupid. In July. I'd love to know how you emphasize in July. Impossible. Meaningless.
I think all they were thinking about was that they didn't want to...
He isn't thinking.
Wilson, can we just do one last...
Yeah?
And it was my fault. I said in July. If you can leave every July...
You didn't say it. He said it. Your friend. Every July?
So after the show...
No, you don't really mean every July.
It is.
But that's bad copy. It's in July. Of course it's every July. Too much directing around here. Norway. Fish fingers, no, Findus, Norway. We know a certain fjord in Norway, near where the cod gather in great shoals. There, Jan Stangeland.
A fraction more on that shoals thing, because you rolled it around very nicely.
Yeah, roll it around and I have no more time. You don't know what I'm up against. Because it's full of things that are only correct because they're grammatical, but they're tough on the ear. You see, this is a very wearying one. It's unpleasant to read. Unrewarding. Because Findus freeze the cod at sea and then add a crumb crisp coating. That's tough, crumb crisp coating. I think, no, because of the way it's written, you need to break it up, because it's not as conversationally written. What?
Take crumb out.
Take crumb out. Good. Here under protest is beef burgers. We know a little place in the American far west where Charlie Briggs chops up the finest prairie-fed beef and tastes. This is a lot of... You know that. You want one more?
Yeah,
more on what beef?
You missed the first beef, actually, completely.
What do you mean missed it?
You're emphasizing prairie fed.
But you can't emphasize beef. That's like his wanting me to emphasize in before July. Come on, fellas, you're losing your heads. I wouldn't direct any living actor like this in Shakespeare. Well, you do this. It's impossible.
Orson, you did 6 last year, and by far and away the best, and I know the reason.
The right reading for this is the one I'm giving it.
At the moment.
I spent 20 times more for you people than any other commercial I've ever made. You are such pests. Now, what is it you want?
No, I think...
In your depths of your ignorance, what is it you want? Whatever it is you want, I can't deliver because I just don't see it.
Holy mackerels.
You isn't worth it. No money is worth it.
This from the man who brought us War of the Worlds from 1938.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man.
Those were the days. Thanks for listening, fellas.
Quentin Tarantino was on this show to have a little promo thing for one of his movies. I don't know which one. He was promoting one of his recent movies, and the interviewer was trying to kind of trap him with his questions and him to admit to movie violence and stuff like that. And Quentin Tarantino was having none of it.
Why are you so sure that there's no link between enjoying movie violence and enjoying real violence?
I'm going to tell you why I'm so sure. Don't ask me a question like that. I'm not biting. I refuse your question.
Why?
Because I refuse your question. I'm not your slave and you're not my master.
But you haven't said why you think there's no relationship.
It's none of your business what I think about that.
Well, it's my job to ask you why you think that.
And I'm
saying
very influential.
No. Our ratings.
No, it is. It is about you want me to say it for you. For your show, this show, right here, right now.
Well, look, this is a news program. It's not a film program, so we explore serious themes. That's the difference.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But you want me to do what I've already done before, and I am refusing.
Now here's a little something from our favorite on-air personality. It's from July 21st, 1995, but I heard him yell at dozens of callers to turn their radio or listening device off. So they should know better. But here's Art Bell from 1995.
West of the Rockies? Whoops, you would have been on the air.
A little side note. The only time I ever called into Art Bell, I got through. And I wasn't worried about stumbling over my words. I wasn't worried about billions of people listening. I was worried that if I was going to make one little noise or do anything, he was going to yell at me. So, this is why. They don't listen.
Hello?
Is this Art Bell?
Well, I can barely hear you.
Art Bell?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, Art?
Yes?
Hold on.
All right, well, I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to get that radio turned off, sir.
Okay, yeah. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, where are you?
I'm in Missouri.
Missouri, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Okay, you still got your radio on, sir.
Oh, hold on.
No, I don't think so. Sorry about that. We'll serve it up once, and I'll wait once, but not twice. When you get on the air, turn your radio off. I know it makes me seem like a cruel, ruthless dictator, but I guess I am. That's the way it's going to be. Turn your radio off. And so if I say turn the radio off, and you say okay, and I wait, and then the radio's still on again, and you have to turn it down twice, I mean, you must have a very unusual radio. That volume must just jump right back up by itself.
Best radio voice ever. And here's a little compilation that someone created with some Art Bell turn your radio off comments. And excuse the music in the background, but that's how they have it set up.
You've got your radio on, don't you? Turn your radio off.
Is this Art?
Yes, it is. Extinguish your radio, please.
Okay, just a second.
Yes, turn your radio off.
Who's this?
What's your best guess?
Are you Art Bell?
No, I'm Harry. Turn off the radio. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Who am I calling?
Well, now, with regard to who you're calling, you would know more about that than I would.
I was trying to reach Art Bell.
Uh-huh. Who do you think you've reached?
Oh, I have no idea. So
well, you wanted what kind of pizza?
Oh, I don't want any pizza. No, thanks.
You did order one, anchovies, right?
No anchovies. I can't stand anchovies.
Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Be sure to turn your radio off, know who you're calling, and know who you are.
Are you sure you're canceling this order, then?
No pizza.
All right, well, all right, fine.
And let me just share a few seconds of a song that I only discovered because of Art Bell. And for some reason, it's the creepiest song I ever heard in my life. But that's Art Bell for you. This is Some Velvet Morning by Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood.
Morning when I'm straight, I'm gonna open up your gate and maybe tell you about Phaedra and how she gave me life and how she made it in some velvet morning when I'm straight.
And here is a clip of Joan Rivers having a little meltdown.
In all these, I guess forays, it's been, very, very good to you. And you've got best-selling books. You sell out on stage, even with your fashion critiquing. While it's very mean in some ways, people can't wait to hear what you have to say. Really? It's not mean?
It's not mean. I tell the truth. I'm sure I say the same things that all your viewers say to their friends sitting next to them on the couch.
People love you. But they also know that you have some shock value to you. I mean, on the cover of your book, you're wearing a fur, and you knew that there would probably be animal rights activists.
This whole interview is becoming a defensive interview.
No!
Are you wearing leather shoes?
Yeah,
shut up.
I'm talking.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hear. You're wearing fur. You're wearing leather shoes.
I'm not an activist,
You're eating chicken.
Yeah.
You're eating meat. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Come to me with a paper belt, and I'll talk to you.
But you did hear it in some of those press conferences. There were people who were upset, and you're just saying,
no. I'm going. I really am going, because all you have done is negative.
No.
All you have done is negative. I haven't heard that. I make people laugh for 50 years. I am put on earth to make people laugh. My book is funny. I wear fur that was killed 15 years ago. I work for animal rights. Stop it with, and you do this, and you're mean, and you're that. You are not the one to interview a person who does humor. Sorry.
Are we serious?
Kind of ironic. Joan Rivers had another meltdown shortly after this, where she talked about Obama being gay, and then she just mysteriously died.
Is there anyone listening at night and you're by yourself? Well, I have a special treat for you.
Hello? Can you find me? Can you find me? I'm here. Behind you, look. Behind you. I'm behind you. I am right behind you. Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you. Hey, don't you run away. Please stay. Stay with me. If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you.
What? Sorry, I did not know that part was coming. Back to In Dark Places.
And I do believe that is the end of the Celebrity Meltdown Marathon. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks as always, Mr. Jimmy Haunted. And we'll see you again right here next week. God bless you guys. See ya.